In other words, I ain't not doing what today. Don't tell me about work, I out on the road today. Me and some pretty, I out on the board today. I don't care what time of day it is, I'm drinking rum today. I'm having fun today. Yeah! Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. I'm on the road, yeah. To the beach, yeah. To the club, yeah. Pool party, bus crawl, uptown, yeah. Downtown. If it's a birthday, turn up. Get drunk till your face get numb. When my crew they come around, drinks up and sing along. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. Yeah, bring the vibes that we pump, and then we drink and drink till we drunk. Pop bottles, you know we. The Bahamas bust when you see we touching. We drinking, some bad gal we linking. What up Tickers, what up Slim Day. Same timing, sing along with me if you agree no man. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. Boss, I'm not coming to work today. I can't see. No, nothing wrong with my eyes. I just can't see myself coming to work today. Thank you. In other words, I ain't not doing what today. Don't tell me about work, I out on the road today. Me and some pretty, I out on the board today. I don't care what time of day it is, I'm drinking rum today. I'm having fun today. Yeah! Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. I'm on the road, yeah. To the beach, yeah. To the club, yeah. Pool party, bus crawl, uptown, yeah. Downtown. If it's a birthday, turn up. Get drunk till your face get numb. When my crew they come around, drinks up and sing along. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. Yeah, bring the vibes that we pump, and then we drink and drink till we drunk. Pop bottles, you know we. The Bahamas bust when you see we touching. We drinking, some bad gal we linking. What up Tickers, what up Slim Day. Same timing, sing along with me if you agree no man. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say.
Oh, I wish it was. Oh, how I wish it was. That's me there, buddy. Say that again. I hear you. Which one? Stream me out. Oh, okay. That's how we doing it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. We back to that kind of thing now? My God. It's certainly a holiday. Good morning to you, SVG. Good morning. It's Monday morning. We're inside the 7 o'clock hour. So there we go. We're inside the 7 o'clock hour. It's Monday morning, and we're going to get you going this morning. Yeah, right up until 10 o'clock this morning. Let me let you know what to expect this morning. Hold on, let me bring on my hands. Yeah. What to expect this morning at 7:45 this morning. We got the Council joining us. Council Jomo Thomas will be with us. At 8:35 this morning, we've got Our good man, Mr. Weeks, Sir Lancelot, will be joining us at 8:30 this morning, at 9:45 this morning, thereabouts, so maybe before. We've got Dr. Richards joining us this morning. All that and so much more, the best music. And we're going to have some conversation. We got some things to talk about in between day and all that and so much more all this morning for you. Right here, even though Shady's saying that he wants it to be a holiday today, we got all that and more happening today. But before we get going, we got to tell you about some stuff. Yeah, Hotel Alexandria. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Let's say that it should be here to be played. Right, Shady. Before I put my foot in my big mouth, let me make sure it's here. Yes, it is. Yeah. Calling all food lovers, Hotel Alexandria Cultural Bar and Grill in Prospect is a place to be. Your ultimate dining experience and destination. From 3 p.m. today, they'll be open from 3 o'clock today. Yeah, they'll be open so you can catch them good up there from 3 o'clock today. Monday to Saturday, indulge in their delectable menus, offering an extensive selection of wines, liqueurs, cocktails, mocktails. You know what's a mocktail, though, by the way? You know what's a mocktail?
What's that?
You don't? Well, just say yes or no. Do you know what's a mocktail? Oh no, you don't know. He doesn't know what's a mocktail. Shots, mouth-watering dishes, and more. Check them out today for the perfect blend of flavors and vibrant atmosphere. Call them at 456-9788 for more information. That's 456-9788 for more information. Well, school opens officially today, so I do not know if I should do this, but maybe why not? Yeah, and Flow Back to School Extravaganza continues every day. One lucky customer will have the chance to win a free laptop. Maybe it gets to do it today as well too. All right, all you got to do is zero your balance for a chance to win the back to school with them at Flow. And why not? Well, there's still some persons who still heading out to school, maybe the 2-3 higher education. Yeah, KCCU is saying embrace the future of education with KCCU EdTech. Head back to school hassle-free with financial support from $3,000 to $5,000. Enjoy low interest rates and manageable monthly payments. Invest in your dreams today. Yeah, pave the way for a brighter tomorrow. Yeah, take the leap today towards success with KCCU. Educate. Unlock up to $30,000 at just 7% interest on the reducing balance for your 2-3 education journey. Yeah, 2-3 mean coming to college and up. You know, those of you who are doing your master's, your diploma program and all that, you can get that at KCCU. Yeah. The Red Cross one that's already gone. Yeah, they would have had that on the weekend. The Red Cross back to school thingy that's already passed, so we don't need to tell you about that. Yeah. Hey, listen, Max Pizza and Kitchen back will introduce Vinci Pizza Delivery every Friday. Place those orders from 10 p.m. Thursday, like all now. So like when I said to all now, I mean from today, via call or WhatsApp. You can call them at 528-1854. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Or you can call the restaurant this evening from 3 o'clock at 458-3474 between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. All orders will be delivered by a Max representative the following Friday, so this coming Friday at the wharf from 5:30 p.m. upon the arrival of the Becker Express. The Vinci Uber is still in operation, or the rhythm section breakdown? It's in up. Man, speak up like if you're here in the chest, man. Yeah, come on, man. That's how I like to talk. Like you're here in the chest, like big man thing now. Yeah, so Vinci Uber, you can give Vinci Uber a call. What's the number to call Vinci Uber?
533-1154.
533-1154. Yeah, if you need to have Vinci Uber pick up your pizza from Max Pizza at the Wharf, or you just need the Vinci Uber to do anything in and around Kingston. Yeah, is that correct?
Airport also,
yeah, there we go. And not E.T. Joshua there, the real AIA, right? If you need to be taken to AIA, call the Vinci Uber at what number?
533-1154.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Well, Coach Bogo, I think that's completed from August 29th to 31st. That's already completed, so no need for that. Let's take that out. Yeah. My boy Shallow. Yeah. Shallow at SVG Tires. Good morning at SVG Tires. They have a special on tires. Buy at regular price and get the fourth one for free. Visit their stores today in Kingston at telephone number 457-1467, or you can call them at Annisville at 456-6447. Shallow, you cannot ask for a nicer businessman. Yeah, nice, honest, decent businessman. That's my boy Shallow. Make sure you check him out, all right? Just go on out. If he's not there, go there. All right, downstairs, SVG General Services. Ask for Shallow. Say, Bing, say, to ask for you. Yeah? Ask for Shallow. You'll see him. Introduce yourself to him. You cannot ask for a nicer, more decent, businessman. That's Shallow. That's my boy Shallow. Very, very good man. Very, very good man. Yeah? If you want tires to buy just from a good person, buy it from Shallow, because he ain't going to scam you. He ain't going to give you no second tire. You're getting the real deal from Shallow, okay? So check out Shallow at SVG Tires, all right? Remember to call them at 457-1467. Maybe you want to find out if they've got, how the tires number 16, 17, 70, how the tires numbers is go? The tire size on them numbers now?
17.
Like 17 what? Jesus Lord! This I don't know. You know what kind of tires your car been to? But this
65, 60.
But that's what I mean. 65, 60. I mean, Jesus. Shallow, please help me out with this guy here, please. That's my boy Shallow there. Yeah, good morning to you, Shallow. Yeah. Yeah, we got much more to talk to you about this morning with these messages. We got to give them to you. Let me say good morning, Brendolyn, Ryan, Bernadette, Ryan, Phillips. Good morning to you. Bernadette, been happy. Good morning, Boom. SVG family. What's that?
Happy belated birthday.
To
Bernadette.
Oh, Bernadette.
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
Over the weekend.
Bernadette, over the weekend, what's your birthday? Bernadette, come now, man. Come now, man. You know what you got to do? You got to send us some coffee for your birthday. It's your birthday, Bernadette. We taking one to the team for you, Bernadette. Happy birthday, belated happy birthday to you, Bernadette. I hope you had a grand time on the weekend, Bernadette. So continue to enjoy. Listen, your birthday should not just be one day in the month. You should celebrate your birthday for the entire month. All right. So enjoy your birthday. Anybody see Kyle in the building? If Kyle is in the building, please come to the studio. Kyle, if you're not in the building, when you get in the building, come straight to the studio for me, please. Okay, please. Yeah. So belated happy birthday to you, Bernadette, and we love you. All right. Sanche, good morning to you all the way from Guyana. He's listening from. Good morning to you, George. Buenos dias, SVG. Good buenos dias, George, and the Boom family. George is saying blessings, everyone. Locked on from Philadelphia. Good morning to you, George. Yeah, it's a holiday on my side, Bing. That's what George is saying. Mary, morning, darling. Oh gosh, Mary, we gotta make you honorary citizen and an honorary member staff of Boom and OMG. Lord, you love us and we love you back. Yeah, we're gonna do something for our honorary listeners, and definitely Mary will be one of them. Yeah, Glenda McIntosh, good morning to you. Max Walker, good morning to you. Vinci Uber have AC? Question. Vinci Uber have AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What did I say, Max Walker? From Frenches. No, that's no.
No, Max Walker in that.
That's the Max. Max is from. That's the Max from Layu. That's the one from Layu.
Carl.
Okay. Yeah. Max, morning, buddy. But Max, I want to hear from you early this morning. Okay. Early this morning. Yeah. Max, because you sweating out. Out your hell out at AIA. Oh gosh. Now me sing good morning to Linda. No, me sing good morning to you. No. You say good morning to you. Me say good morning. Say good morning. Tell him morning.
Yeah,
tell
Mr.
him.
Be fit.
Me tell him morning.
Well, last been come dream.
No. You should ask when last I talked to he. Ask you that. Me mention. I am not going to mention Linda's name. I'm not mentioning Linda's name. You say good morning. You say good morning. Say good morning back to Linda. Say good morning.
I don't shout out Linda there.
Yeah. Devon Grant all the way in Oman. Devon, good morning to you, buddy. No, that's a good man. Devon is a good, decent man. Like Lyndon. Up to now, me even think he understand why I lock you off yet, you know. Up to now, I do not think Lyndon James Biffett understand why I lock you off. Up to now, you gotta come in the studio. Come right here in the studio. So I can tell him, and he will have to apologize to me on air. I'm not hiding it. I ain't telling you until he come. I lock you off properly. Darren, good morning to you in Oman. Good morning to you, Darren. Tessa Simmons, good morning to you. Yeah? Some Lawrence here. Deshaun Lawrence saying you can't even get internet in some of them. In some what? What he talking about? Yeah? Rohan Archibald, good morning. Didi Christopher, good morning to you. All the way from UK, good morning to you. Good morning wherever you're listening from. Tell us where you're listening from so we can see a special shout out to you this morning. It's one of those mornings. Well, guys, this morning is back to school morning. For those of you who have kids, you know what it's like. For those of you who minding pig in a bag, you still know what it's like. You know what I mean? We laughing for. Huh?
They change shades for
who? For who? For you. You guilty?
Yeah, guilty.
You guilty, yeah. Good morning to you. For those of you fathers who are not biological fathers, but are fathers, you're still considered fathers. Good morning to you. For those of you mothers who are not biological mothers, but are mothers still, good morning to you. As we take care of the children heading back out to school today. Wow, it seemed like a really long vacation. I don't know about you. It seemed that summer vacation seemed really, really, really long. Like exceptionally long. I don't know why. It seemed really, really long. And so finally, the parents, most of the parents are happy that the kids are heading back out to school this morning. Already, the roads are busy like hell as the kids head back out to school this morning. I think both primary, secondary, and community college students are back out to school today as well. So let us wish them well. Alicia, morning, darling. Good morning. Alicia says she's watching in Brooklyn. It's also Labor Day Monday in Brooklyn this morning as well. We're going to talk about all that this morning too. But we got some serious business to talk about this morning, right? Hold on. What the hell, Kyle? Somebody call Kyle for me, please. Or go play up, go put up with the things if you can get the thing sorted out. Huh? What?
That's the next one I mash it up. Okay, I'll go reach this one, man. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Marvin Bob, good morning to you. Blessed, happy Labor Day. Enjoy, folks. Enjoy. Make sure you check out Woodsy today. We know it's going to be busy on the parkway and you need somewhere to go. Check out Woodsy. You know you got to go to Woodsy today. You know Woodsy had big celebration all weekend long. And it continues. Heptito. That's his name. That's his real name. That is his government name. Heptito. Woodsy. Heptito Woodsy. I'm sure he's not awake as yet. Heptito Woodsy. When they say Heptito, yeah, that was his name that was given to him by his parents. Like, what the hell? Who gave the child that name? Heptito Woods. Yeah, that is his name. I'm sure he's not up as yet, but big action in New York City. A West Indian Caribbean parade happening today and all that and so much more today. Well, let me get on to some serious business. Last week, and I prepared for it this morning, Last week, hold on, let me find the thing. Last week, there was a conversation on here with my boy, who we're going to hear from this morning when we play the drop. Those of you who, when the drop name who ball for Labour, but who voted for Labour, but now a ball. Kenson. When Kenson was saying that the $500 given to students who performed well is taken from the NIS. You my buddy, so we go fight up. We go fight up. Okay? We go fight up. And I prepared for you this morning. Because they say I wasn't coming to talk this morning because my daughter thing and I was balling down. Which is true, I was balling down like hell whole weekend. And this emptied the NIS because the government has a policy in which they give students who have done well coming out of the community college $500. Now information came to me that what Kenson was talking about was below the cattle tail. Basically talking stupidness. I mean, you'll fight about that. It's all right. We're going to deal with that after 9 o'clock this morning. Right? That money, that $500, came separately and was taken from the interest from the Providence Fund. A completely separate account from that of the main NIS. All right? So, Kenson, we're going to fight about that this morning. That's one thing we're going to fight about this morning. And many others. Providence Fund interest money pays $500 to students, not NIS money. We just got to clear that. So let me clear that, okay? For all the Kensons and the other Kensons out there. Because that is something that I have always seen. But what is wrong with that? What is wrong with the government awarding students and encouraging them? What the hell is wrong with that? Why should we have a problem with that? But can't just say his problem with that is that it's coming from NIS money. Sorry, caller, you can call back. All right, Kent just said that it is coming from NIS money, which government dipping the hand in. And my research, which I did, came up that that money is coming from the interest from the Providence Fund, which is a completely separate thing. But let me hear from Mr. Mahoney. Good morning.
Good day, my brother. How are you?
Good day, my brother.
I encourage people to listen to Bing. So, Bing, you have to understand that you treat people respectable. Do not disrespect them.
I'm disrespecting nobody this morning.
Well, let me say this. Kenson is
how did I disrespect Kenson this
morning?
morning?
Well, let me say this. Kenson is not in any position where he's disrespecting a line.
How did I disrespect Kenson this morning?
Well, I am saying you got the source from where? The Auditor General and the Accountant General, not from Gonsalve or somebody from NS, must tell you that there is checks and balance. And what I'm saying, I call the NS. And I said, is it true that monies were taken from the NS, whether Providence Fund or any way? And literally up to now, the biggest CEO can't answer it. We heard from the union that it happened. We know from Annie Eustace that he didn't get any official document. And they've been actually dipping their hand. The point about is that we're not concerned about children. We are concerned that the very children that can't go to school today is because they are borrowing money from the NIS. You don't borrow money from NIS.
Hold on, Mr. Hamilton. Go ahead. Are you saying
yes, please,
that you have, first of all, let's establish, let's put it in the context, that you have a problem with awarding children who have done well $500? First of all, let's start with that. Do you have a problem with that?
No, and Kenson said that
you. I ain't talking about Kenson. We'll deal with Kenson later. Kenson could defend himself. You.
Yes,
you have a problem with that?
How could anybody be upset with children being rewarded? But if you're awarding children, make sure you award them from the productive sector. So make sure that I don't reward my children and then by buying them gifts or doing them favors.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, next step. So interest, which is generated from a business. Interest means the business make money. All right?
Yes,
you invest the money, the business make money, and all that kind of thing. Interest generated from the Providence Fund. And using that interest to encourage and to give to children who have done well. Is that a bad thing?
Well, I could tell you to answer it this way. Honorable Annie Eustace, he was in the same position. Mr. Mitchell, I want to borrow $15 million for bananas. At that time, bananas it is lucrative. He could pay back. He said, Mr. Mitchell, are you sure that we can give you back the money? I'm saying, which part of any institution for government is lucrative? So you take that money out. Just like how they borrowed 23 million. I am saying they can't even pay the salary.
We're talking two different things here now. We're talking two different things here
No,
now.
I'm
Let's do one
talking
thing
the
at a
same
time.
thing.
Let's do one thing at a time now. Let's do one thing
The
at a
money
time.
cannot be paid back because there's no money to pay back.
We'll do it one thing at a time now. If
Go ahead.
okay, you have a shop, Mr. Hamilton. Okay,
Yes, please.
you
Yes,
have
please.
stocks in your shop. You
Yes,
sell
please.
your stocks to make a profit. The
To
stock,
make a profit, to
yeah,
pay
right?
back stuff.
Your shop make a profit. You
Yes,
take
please.
some of the money from the
And you
profit.
put it back
And
into the.
no, hold on. And you give some of the profit to your daughter and your son. Is that a bad thing?
Yes, it's a bad thing if the profit is minimal. So if the profits are going to stop you from buying back, then. But if you have sufficient profit, and that is why 2008, the profit of the NS, in fact, it used to be 30 million on the other users, was 27 million. Meaning that they could have done a lot of things like lending out a little money or giving out a little thing, maybe even with the children. But when you have a situation, by 2010, the profit fell to 5 million because Mr. So-called, you call him Prime Minister, you call him that, been literally lending out money to all and sundry and couldn't pay it back. Michael Clico and Kenneth, it means then that the only way out is to carry up my age to 70 and 80 and 90. We think we can plantation. My brother, do not try to correct, to spread wrong. Mr. Gonzalez, get out. He has destroyed this. I don't care whether you're a friend. He must go. He has to go, man. I love you and Gonzalez. God, you're doing too much in this country.
I love you too, my brother. I love you too. No, I love the passion. You know, I don't care nobody say I love the passion. I love passion. I love. Sorry for taking the call late. 4511069. That's the number to call if you want to call. Cancel. You don't call it. We're gonna deal with you at your time. You don't call it with your fresh self. We're gonna play your job. When you hear your job, you call. We gonna call. We gonna call it. Now, there's another matter I want to deal with this morning. Like I said, schools are reopened. Schools have reopened this morning. There you go. Yes, morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I listened to you last week trying to justify where the authorities said that they use the interest from the Providence Fund to assist the children who did well, right? I often say this question all the time. The Providence Fund, when it started, it seemed to be very lucrative because we know about the NS. Both of us being hear about the Providence Fund over a period of time. And I still wonder if there are resources in the NS that is seriously connected to the Providence Fund. And that is where I think Mr. Hamilton needs to make the link because, hey, nothing wrong in rewarding children. But why rewarding them from monies that was not profitable? Because if the Prime Minister say interest, you jump down and you believe him. But I don't believe him. I actually don't believe him. I believe that giving children money was a political ploy to see if he could win them over. Well, that might work for him, but that ain't working for me.
Right.
And I am concerned being about the NAS. I have heard people speak, your friends who sit at the helm trying to convince me that the NS is strong, but I am worried about the NS because hey, what happened a few years ago, we had an actual done by Mrs. Ian Vera, and she said it is strong until 2035. When we heard that, 2035 did some far, but being before you wink in the next 10 years, right? 2035 is here. And I wonder if there are any plans besides raising our age, hoping that I did before I get my NS so that the NS can be lucrative with my bond pan money. So we see. But I am really worried about where we're going with the NS and what is being said in terms of the money that they give the children. Because, say, Bing, I need to get information what percentage of the NS money is really from the Providence Fund as the primary industry. If not, I agree with Mr. Hamilton that we have to pay attention and we need to hear a little more details. I am not suggesting Bing that you can't reward children, right? But rewarding children at the expense of my retirement age, and they told me I gotta take all this retirement at 55, right? They discouraging that now and hoping that you take it at 60 to 67. And most people live until they're 70. So I paid 750 payments to get a 3-year benefit. So I'm going to have somebody like me who pay over a period of time with benefit 2 years, give back all the money in 2 years and just have 1 year to live. That was never my intention.
Right.
My intention was to get as much as NS money. I was making an investment.
When you
When I
retire.
retire, I don't see that happening, okay?
Okay, let me ask you something, though. Let me ask you something. I know you. I don't know if you want me to call the name.
No problem,
Yeah,
babe.
yeah, Kingsley. Do you prefer the interest that are made from the Providence Fund to be invested in hotel development or in the future of our nation?
Well, like the way crafty question, because I don't believe when the government or the board of directors from the NIS say that they're going to invest money in NIS fund to the billionaire hotel. I think that was a poor investment. So I will agree with you that reward the children who did extremely well for the future endeavor, right? Because we know that visitation have pride and they will encourage their children to save a little bit more from that open a saving account and they will start to prepare themselves to be favored. But the issue of being a hotel, no, because being a hotel like what we see being out at Diamond, right? That is not an investment going to bear fruit, in the not too distant future, That's like the airport. You build it and call it to quick, build it and they will come. Build the hotel and
Next
the
question, Kingsley. Do you prefer interest made to be invested in Clico Bico or the future of our nation, Kingsley?
Clico, Bico, watch an investment who took all our money. If you know the amount of people who die waiting on that investment, and we understand that the NS had a sizable amount of investment for Clico. Today, people are bleeding because of what took place with the NS/Clico money. And no, I don't support that investment when it happened. I will go along with your theory. Take a chance on the future of the children.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too, my brother. Thank you. All right, cool. Yes. But we go get you Ken cancel later on this month. People are asking on my WhatsApp or cancel it. Don't worry, you go come in later on. Yeah. So that is the issue. When Cancel said that the government taking money from NIS, and he go answer for himself. It's all right. Then you go fight up. And but spending it, my words, not his words, and giving it to children for political strategy. His word, my words. Let's go. Morning.
Morning. No, to say the money that they're giving to them students is an investment. I wouldn't call that an investment because what return on that investment are we expecting? Because investment, if I spend $10, buy something, and I sell the thing I buy for $12, I get a $2 return on my investment. What return on them investment is we expect to get from giving the children the money? The most the children go do is spend the money back in the economy. No. If Providence Fund is so successful that they have $3 million to give away every time children pass exam, how come we not invest NIS money that's in the same portfolio there? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying we should not reward all the children in them, because that is a good look. That is a good motivation for the next set of children. Boy, I may get a $500 to help mommy buy a book bag next year. So better me do good. So that is a psychological motivation, but it's also buying votes. Because boy, they give me a $500 when I was 16. Now that I'm 18, I go remember the $500 being given me. So I go and vote for being, even though they go force mommy to work till she 40, 1600 years old. So we have to be very careful of how we look at these things, because to me that's just political bribery by giving those future voters money.
Of course it is political strategy. Of course it is.
Then.
And who would not be strategic in doing that? But to say that investing in our children is not going to give a return, Max, come on. Let's think about this carefully.
No. I'm not saying investing in our children is not going to give us a return. The money
Yes.
that the $500 you give to them, you
Yes.
cannot call it an investment.
Why not? Max, do you know how many children today? Where do you think most? Let's just say 70% of that $500. Where do you think that go? Do you think that the children take that and go down the road and buy shoes and phone? Or do you think that money goes to the parents to help the parents to prepare them for?
Well, you could speculate all the way go because no such thing called accountability is in St. Vincent. So if you give a child $500, how much times you give a child $20 for their birthday and the parents take with the money? How much time a parent? No, I'm just saying. Then we could sit here and assume all day we don't have nothing to prove where that money is being spent. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with your assumption that it goes to helping mommy reinvest back in the child.
Max, do you know how many children will not be going to school this morning because they cannot afford to go to school, because they still do not have uniform, because parents cannot provide for them? Do you know how many children? Do you know how many parents have came to me personally asking for assistance? Have you seen the amount of children on the streets within the last week or two walking around with sponsorship asking for donation?
Well, I've donated to, and not 2 bags to the labor people, them who say me love bags. I've donated to about 20 children just for the school year to help out. And I know it's a serious problem. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying don't reward the children in them. I'm not saying that's not my argument. My argument is
don't use Providence funds. Interest.
No. I'm not saying don't use the Providence fund. I'm saying if the Providence fund is so lucrative that it makes so much interest, why not use the same portfolio to invest NIS money in it?
Okay.
Why not use the same portfolio and pick up a susu hand for the leak in roof down Mental Cater General Hospital that last year they had 1 bucket.
Like I put that.
They have last year they have 1 bucket, now this year they have 2 buckets in the same room because now the roof can't fix. If Providence Fund is so profitable that you could give $3 million to the children, which I say they should get, why not invest some of that same money back into our hospital?
Very good.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe we can get some questions this morning, buddy. Okay, step out, don't move. Step out, all right?
All right.
Don't move. Good. I want to touch something else before comes to come in. Girls High School. When I say Girls High School, I don't mean what is at the tarmac. I mean Girls High School, the original Girls High School structure, the building. The building of Girls High School. How long now have we seen work being done on that Girls High School building opposite the NDP headquarters? Who's got the contract to do that building? Is it Baxter? Is it a private contractor? Who? What? Why can't? Who's asking these questions? And are we getting answers to these questions? Why is it taking so long? Why haven't that building been refurbished after so many years? So many years. So that the children from Girls High School are not going to that building this morning. Why is it taking so long? Who has got the contract to do the Girls High School building? I honestly don't know. I don't think that I'm being facetious or anything. I mean, I've passed there every morning and I'm seeing guys running blocks, the same set roadblocks for days. What the hell is going on? Why do we have to treat these things like this? Why aren't we asking questions? Why aren't there more transparency? What is the problem that I've got a building for years, minimum 3 years, work being done on? and it can't done. I don't know. I'm asking. I am honest to God asking these questions because I do not know, and I would love some answers. I would love some answers. Why is it taking so long? Who is responsible? Who is the private contractor if it is a private contractor? If it's Baxter, why is it taking so long? Would somebody please answer me? Please, I'm begging. What is going on? But tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Council coming up. Maybe Council might be able to answer some of these questions for us this morning. Let's take... Oh, somebody said according to this PM, Bali and Bali is the one who's doing the work there. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and find out what the hell is going on. This is a new school year being started. And up to now, we can't even see a semblance of any improvement. All we see the roof lick off, and that is it. What is going on? Let's take a quick break. Come back with Council this morning. We'll find out.
OMG in the morning.
Protect the children. Yeah. Don't be afraid to speak out. Teach the kids their rights. Physical and sexual abuse must stop. Join me.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Hit it up to your inner mode. Stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through.
In collaboration with UNICEF.
The Patriot Company Limited, with services like terrazzo construction, terrazzo restoration, terrazzo maintenance, concrete grinding, pressure washing, janitorial services, carpet cleaning, home and office cleaning. We offer services at affordable prices. Call and we intend to broaden.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company. By Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve.
This is Locally Made. My name is Jillian Cruikshank. Join us on IKTV channel 112, where we premiere and air Locally Made, a program featuring locally made produce right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We'll show you how it's made and how it is done. Remember, every Thursday, 8 p.m. on IKTV channel 112.
Summertime.
District Stairs is having a grand summer sale. 20% off all vinyl flooring store-wide. Vinyl floor.
Baby, tell me to go.
taken for granted every day. Do you ever wonder how and where it's made?
Corazes, hardware, Corazes, one place, Corazes, the helpful place. Yo, Corazes hardware is the place for all of your home needs. If you want building materials, where you going? Corazes, Corazes, for paint and garden tools, where you going? Corazes, Corazes, electrical cables, find that at Corazes. We have everything for your home at Corazes. Located in Kingston, located in Annisville. Pembroke, Diamonds and Banquet. Shop at Corazes. Hardware Corazes. Helpful place Corazes. One place Corazes. Corazes.
Colorview camera coupled with a supplemental light.
Paladin SVG Inc. alarm solution is second to none. We offer intrusion alarm systems, security radar, active infrared beams, and emergency alarm systems. Get perimeter protection for your premises. Active infrared beams protect large areas. Our radar video linkage solution sends data to PTZ cameras for active target tracking, so you can take immediate action. Intrusion alarm systems offer reliable protection and records video the moment the alarm is triggered and sends footage to users via email or the app. Intelligent alarm systems mean you can control your home from anywhere in the world. Find out more at Paladin SVG Inc. at telephone number 784-457-7241.
Listen,
Your Penny Bank, and so
I'm a mojito connoisseur. I've drank mojitos near and far. And when you want a good mojito, trust me, the only place to get it is Culture Baranga.
Summer, summertime. District Stairs is having a grand summer sale. 20% off all vinyl flooring store-wide. Vinyl floors are suitable for every room in the home. They are beautiful, versatile, water-resistant, and durable. Vinyl flooring is also ideal for...
Memorial Funeral Home is dedicated to meeting the needs of our customers. We go above and beyond to ensure satisfaction and convenience. That is why we are extending our services to the diaspora, working with Caribbean
289-2007-649.
Plain Talk. Plain Talk with Jumo Thomas.
So much things to say right now.
All you talk now.
On OMG.
Good morning. It's now time for us to bring in the good counsel this morning. It's now time for Plain Talk with Jumo Thomas a couple minutes late because of the ads that we got. So good morning to you, counsel. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bing. I have nothing plain to say.
You have nothing plain to talk about?
No. There's so many. Maybe I should just talk a little law this morning. And there's a number of people who have small estates, and there is a Small Estate Act, but the Small Estate Act, I think it was passed in the 1930s, and then the small estate was like $1,500. And people always complain. I think in the early part of the ULP administration, it was increased to $15,000, and last year it was increased to $50,000. And though that's a real progressive piece of legislation, simple but progressive, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of people poor people mainly, who have very small estates, and sometimes the only thing that a family member who passed may have had is a bank account. And up until a few years ago, well, before you could have write to the bank and find out, well, my dad Bing has passed, how much money? I know he had an account at Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, how much money is there? And you would have got, the bank would respond and tell you, oh, you know, Bing had $43,000 or whatever in the account. And then that was changed, and the banks refused to give you the amount, which made it really difficult for a very poor family. And then that was changed through court action. And now the banks are again giving you what the amount is. So if the account, suppose someone dies and leaves $10,000 in an account, the demand was for there to be a small estate administration, or administration of that small estate. And the lawyer may cost $4,000-$5,000 to do the administration or the probate of the estate. So in many respects, it didn't worth the while for this poor family to have to pay a lawyer to do the legal work that administers the estate, because they would pay $5,000 and then sometimes they end up getting $5,000. So the decision on the part of the legislature, on the initiative of the Unity Labour Party government, to increase the Small Estates Act to $50,000 is really an advance, a progressive advance. Because now, if you are a poor person and a family member may have knocked up a shack in a given area, and that person dies, and then you do a valuation and you realize, let's say you do a valuation and you realize that the estate, all the person has this wooden shack or even a concrete shack, dwelling house, and it's valued under $50,000. You would not have to do the extensive administration of the estate in order to get that money. So that in itself is a big advance that would help a lot of poor people, because poor people don't have a lot of money, and when their loved ones pass, sometimes they don't have the knowledge to do basic things like, oh, you have a small account, you put somebody's name to the account, because if then you were to pass and you put your son's name to the account, well, then that is not an issue for probate. The child would simply show up at the bank, take a birth certificate to indicate you were the father, take a death certificate to indicate that you would have passed, and the bank would release the money. But before this act, it created real problems. I know many people who have come to me in the past to do administration of estates. One, they didn't know how much money might have been in the bank because the bank refused to tell them. And two, sometimes if the estate is very small and this person may not even have money to pay, they could not legally resolve the situation as it relates to the estate. So I think that people need to know that where there's a very small estate, and if the estate falls below $50,000, then they can now expedite it. They can get it done without having to go to the court, without having to do the extensive probate and so on and so forth. You know, a lot of time, many people don't have the basic knowledge, the basic information as to how to get around legal matters. So that question with the increase in the amount of money that, not the amount of money, the value of a property from about $15,000 to $50,000 really assists the poor. There's just a lack of knowledge in legal matters, and it's rather surprising because I'm not sure if people paid attention, but Pierre Campbell of blessed memory has a 25-year archive in which every Monday evening he would go to the TV station and do different legal matters. So, for example, you would hear some people say, I heard Mr. Campbell say it on his Law and You program. But so many people still don't know basic things in the law. Someone came to me recently, they got injured, and 5 years went by, and the lady came by saying, look, I was horribly injured too. But they did not know that the statute of limitation was 3 years. And what they were trying to get a medical report from the hospital, and the hospital pushed them around. And they never got the medical report. And when they came to see me 5 years on, it was 2 years beyond the statute of limitation, and consequently could not now bring a proper claim, because the defendant would simply say, oh, this is out of time. Another young man who was working in one of the companies in St. Vincent came to see me, fell off a pole, broke his legs, injured his face, spent more than a year in rehab, could not come back to the job, and did not know that he had 3 years within which to bring his claim. And even though his company was good enough, kind enough to take care of him, to send him off for medical treatment, and to pay him for all of the time he was off the job, the company, it was still incumbent. Well, let me put it this way. He had a legal claim for personal injury and loss of amenities against this company. But because when he checked me, I think it was 3 years and 11 months after the accident. So he too was closed out. If the company could, because of his injuries, could well give him a gratuitous payment, but he could not pursue the matter in court. And based on his injuries, it is possible that he could have gotten as much as $400,000 from that company. He had serious injuries. I think 2 broken legs, a broken hand, scarred face, and everything else. Out of commission for well over a year, and multiple operations. And he just didn't have the knowledge to know that he should have spoken to an attorney. Attorneys are like, I tell people sometimes, when I say it on this radio, I said it before and I'll say it again. If you are sick, the thing to do is to go to the doctor. If you have a legal problem, the approach to take is to go to a lawyer. Or if you have an accounting problem, a tax problem, you may go to either a lawyer or an accountant. But too often we find many people who have they don't have the basic legal knowledge, and they end up getting themselves in trouble. Somebody gets arrested. For another example, the family members may not have a lot of money, so they are saying, I don't have a lot of money, so I may not be able to afford an attorney. But they may have $200, $300, $400, $500, and say, look, my son got arrested, and I want you to go to the prison to see him, or to go to the police barracks to see him or her. Increasingly now, we are having hers as well, detained by the police. And that one interview between a lawyer and the suspect could result in the difference, whether that person spends a lot of time in jail or whether this person gets convicted or not. Because if the person is well advised, there are times when an attorney may tell a client or prospective client to make a statement to the police and tell the police what you know, or the attorney may tell the client, look, it is the police case to prove. Don't say anything to the police. Oftentimes what you have happening, police playing good cop, bad cop with accused persons. So they arrest Bing and Jomo, and they take Bing to Kittels and they take Jomo to Caliqua. And the police at Caliqua tells Jomo that Bing has already told them everything. So you might as well speak. Well,
Tactics.
They might not have said anything. But even if Bing would have said something, the only way Bing's statement could be used against you is if they give Bing immunity from prosecution. Because the law is that the statement of a co-accused cannot be used to implicate another accused. So when the police say, "Oh, Bing said everything," so you just tell us. The other thing, if you're using it, although a lot of times people are under pressure, if Bing already said everything, why do you need to hear from me? Because Bing told you everything. Bing told you everything already. But too often people they're under pressure. Sometimes they're detained by the police for the first time, and even people who are regular in the police lockup don't have the necessary sense of understanding to know how to deal with these matters. So I think that these are just issues that people need to think about.
Yes.
If you are accused of something, the parents should make sure. Sometimes people come to see me when the person is about to be person is about to be sentenced. What can I do if the person's already been tried and now awaiting sentence? A lady called me the other day to say, "Oh, my son is supposed to be sentenced this morning." I had another matter in court and went to the court, and the son was sentenced to I think 41 years in prison. But people need to know the law, and I guess it's a responsibility of lawyers to have more free law fairs where people can get basic advice and all that, particularly poor people.
Council, we just gone past the top. I want to ask you a couple questions on the other side. Just hold on. Let's go to the top.
No problem at all.
Shreddy, here we go. Let's go. It's Monday morning. Let's go, Shreddy. Let's straight to the top and come right back.
Boom Summerfest is on. The biggest songs of the summer. Every shift, every day. Playing all the party anthems and hits. All day and all night. The Boom Summerfest is on.
The number one morning show in the SBG. OMG in the morning.
Come on now.
Father, protect me from all of them. Why you think me build more now? So me no need nobody hard again. All people when me call me friend, they want to see God. Father, please, if me ever fall, me I guess if you help me up and God me make me walk again. You no need to do them nothing at all. Them just for you say you're right off in your carol. Then Father, please, I can let me know who are real and friends from faults. You no need to pretend that's must. Come see the evil in them and it show. Hey, Father, please, beg your God mistakes. When me in the street on the road, hey, Father God, like come here, you a friend, that please now. Me have some things going on. Father, why me feel like nobody no love me? Would I really leave the place or would I run away? Get up and go a space just cause some me just feel like people. Father, why me love that girl and she love me? Oh God, know that. Really pop up around me. Me just feel like say nobody no love me. Me I tell her say, people.
Boom 1069.
We're back inside the council this morning. Council, there's an interesting. I am hearing more and more, still on the law, okay? I'm hearing more and more persons being arrested for marijuana. First of all, my question to you, is there a legal definition from the standpoint of the law? I'm sure it is, but for our listeners, between medicinal marijuana and marijuana? That's my question.
Well, you may well know that over the last few years, the government has discovered that marijuana is medicine. and the government passed laws to allow for the emergence of a medicinal marijuana sector. And basically, it has been captured by foreign entities who come in and test strains and do. I don't know what where that has gone, whether they're shipping a lot. Maybe they're shipping and we don't know where they're shipping to. The last time I heard was some marijuana was shipped to Germany or some place like that. So there's no, marijuana is marijuana. You can manipulate the how can I say this? There are certain chemicals in marijuana that can be manipulated that can give you a higher high. So for example, some strains may give you a higher high. And maybe when you industrialize the production of marijuana, what you could find happening is that people are testing for strains and getting the dosage that they want that can give you that higher high, and they are allowed to make a lot of money from it. But to get directly to the question as to whether people can be arrested, people can still be arrested. Marijuana is not legal. What the government has done, I think it's up to what, 50 grams or 58 grams or something like that. People, I think they no longer frown on the possession of very small amounts of marijuana. But if the police break into your house, being and meet pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds, you're going to get arrested. I had a client, I did a trial recently for a client who was arrested for, I think it was 544 grams of cannabis. I mean, we did the trial and she was found not guilty, but you can still get arrested. The medical marijuana industry has nothing to do with Vincentians. It has to do with giving an out to rich people to make even money. So for example, Kelly Glass has a facility where I guess tourists can now go and hang out and smoke or drink or however they want to use it, chew it, however they want to do it, they can do it. But Vincentians can't sit down at Harbor Club and do the same thing, or Bottom Town, or you mean you could have a split here, and people are more openly now. I see some guys on the street with little scissors and they have a little bashi and they're chopping up they may have a few ounces there that allows for a smoke for each of them who are sitting or standing around. But that's all they can do. There's no they can't have it in abundance.
First counsel, when this medicinal marijuana conversation started taking place,
right,
and when the laws were being drafted, we were told that in order for you to get medicinal marijuana, that you had to have a prescription from a doctor.
Yeah.
But I know from my experience, because a friend of mine, he wanted to prove the point to me. He took me to a grocery store in the Blue Lagoon area, in which you could just go and buy this marijuana. How does this work really? Because we didn't have any prescription. How is this?
All of that is game, right? Because most Vincentian young people, and some of us not so young, who still use marijuana, we ain't going to no Blue Lagoon area to get no marijuana. We're going to get the marijuana supply where we used to get it all the time. And
right,
it is just a cover for rich people to be able to market and sell to other people, mainly tourists who come in to buy marijuana. So you say you have to have, I remember when you're correct, when they say, oh, there's going to be a doctor sitting there and so on and so forth, none of that foolishness happens. You go and you because it's exotic. Oh, Here I am in St. Vincent on the beach, and I can go and walk into some place and buy some marijuana, and I can sit on a bench right there, looking out at the sea, and smoke it.
But
That's
locals can't do that. But the man of Harbor Club or Bottom Tongue or Botland Glass.
No. I mean, if you have very small amounts, I mean, you can sit down and get a spliff.
Yeah, but those in the grocery stores, surely they would have substantial amounts to sell you.
Yes, without doubt. I mean, you are well endowed. You could go to a store and see how much see if you can get $1,000 worth and see if they would sell it to you. Yeah.
But is that fair, though, Council? I mean, we would.
Bing.
Is that
In these societies, you can't talk about what is fair. These societies have little to do with being fair. It is not fair. It is not equitable. But you know that the notion is that all of us are equal. But we also know that some of us are more equal than others. Not so? You know that, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's not about fair. I think we have to, the struggle is for us to try to become fairer. But this notion, almost pie in the sky notion that we are fair and we are equal, we know we're not even equal before the law. That's the democratic thought, the democratic notion that we're equal before the law. But we know if you are from a certain class or a certain race, you couldn't get a better deal before the court than if you are from the ghetto, or if you're from the slums, or if you're from the rural, or if you don't have anybody. I'll give you an example. I have a client who the police, fairly man, well up, really up there in the civil service, but ordinary brother. A policeman stopped him for a traffic violation. Policeman said apparently he came out of a certain place and he turned to go down hospital road there, where they're fixing up the road, where the road fell in. And the police stopped him. He told him he can't go down there. And the police told him that he's going to be ticketed. So he says, and the police just had him there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes past, the police ain't ticket him. So he just have him there. So he tells the police, look, if you're going to ticket me, ticket me. What did the police do? The police say, you know what? You lock up. For a traffic violation, the police told him he was locked up. The police had him drive to the central police station, where they captured his car. They possessed his car. And well, I went ahead of myself. When the police had him there and not ticketing him, he said, man, what's going on with you, man? You depend stupidness. So the police telling me lock up, carries him to the traffic department, where the officer in charge at the time, Corporal Caesar, and I'll call him name advisedly, Corporal Caesar, tells him he's now proceeding to tell the officer, the senior officer who should know better, why he was detained. And clearly the man is upset because nobody gets charged on a traffic violation. Caesar tells him, oh, you're being aggressive, so go in the cell. And Caesar commands the police officer to take him in the cell and lock him up, put him in the cell. So when I was called and I went to the barracks, First thing, I started to tell Caesar how he doesn't have any right to put somebody in a cell on a traffic violation. He said, "Council, you're a controversial man, you know. You're a controversial man." And then I said, "No, this is not controversy. I'm talking law to you." He said, "Anyway, he has multiple charges." Well, you would think that the multiple charges are for kidnapping, rape, murder. They took us out to the car. My client, they say that my client's number plate were irregular. One had like a regulation plate that you might get from one of those commercial places. And one, it seemed as though the front plate fell off. And my client, in his ingenuity, wrote the numbers on. The numbers are clear. In fact, that, as my client told me, and I have no reason to doubt him, that he took those same plates for inspection and they passed inspection. Anyway, the police said it was irregular. And you know what the other charge that constituted a multiple charge was? That he had his right front tire was worn down. So he had multiple and thrown in a cell, you know. And you have to now go above.
Your client but the policeman, man. Your client but the policeman. That's something more than that is not normal.
Well, my client was even saying that he had a spike list. So
that's not something normal. That's not something normal.
I said, no, don't bother with that. You're not on a spike list. Just the police them just try to act silly. But clearly, Bing, they now have a problem where, and he was kept in there for probably about 3 hours. So they now have a problem of false imprisonment, well, illegal arrests, and false imprisonment. But do you see clearly why the police of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have so much problem solving crime? Now, how are you going to get that man's wife to cooperate with you when she has to come down and see her husband locked up in a cell for a ticket violation? How are you going to get his children who are off in university, who hears that daddy is in a cell because he tire worn and the number plate ain't on straight? You see why the jokers have problems?
Council, we were told, okay, that we will not be getting into recreational marijuana because that would just be a cottage industry. Now, you mentioned a while ago that you heard, you can't confirm that maybe we would have shipped off some marijuana to Germany.
Yeah, remember some months ago they said that
yes, I was the one who interviewed Dr. Thomas.
Very well.
Right. Okay. Since then, have we shipped off any marijuana if it's not a cottage industry? And to where? And to how much? And how much pounds was shipped off? And where we planted all this marijuana? If it's not a cottage industry, and if it's not recreational, all these marijuana that has been grown, where is it going? But the traditional farmers who's growing the marijuana, they're being raided, they're being locked up, raided at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. What's happening here?
You're asking questions about my pay grade. Clearly, Bing, marijuana was a working people affair. When everybody frowned on marijuana, well, everybody in the establishment frowned on marijuana. Brothers, mainly brothers, some sisters went in the hills, but mainly brothers decided, boy, let me try and make a living from this. In fact, there are certain communities in St. Vincent where you could point to this house or that house and say, is marijuana help me mother to build that house? Or is marijuana help Jomo to build that house?
Yep.
Or marijuana send the children to secondary school. Marijuana sends this one to university, and so on and so forth. Marijuana bought this vehicle. But it was frowned on then. And then everybody, as I said in lead off, have now discovered that marijuana is medicine. And the ancients told us that we can Let our food be our medicine, and let our medicine be our food. But we bought into this foolishness back in 1930s when Dow Chemical, which is owned, I think, by the Rockefellers, they had discovered nylon. And before that, hemp rope was used. So when they discovered nylon and they wanted to make a market out of nylon for making rope and everything else, they had an assault against marijuana, against hemp. And that was the genesis of the prohibition against marijuana. And across the world, that picked up. And Nixon in the 1970s made it a mantra, and it became the war on drugs, and marijuana was swept up in that. Although study after study showed that marijuana was not a gateway drug. That's how we end up with these kind of things. But
my final question on the marijuana issue comes: who determine what is the price per pound for marijuana? And I'm asking this because I recently heard of a case that went to the magistrate court in which a bucket of marijuana was found. According to the person who had the marijuana and his client, the marijuana in the bucket was really just dust and mold, but still it was valued at an excessive amount. Who determined the price, and therefore the price for marijuana will have it will weigh on the charges and whatever the magistrate decide the penalty shall be.
Well, like anything else, marijuana, like any other product, would carry a price based on what the market can bear. So if marijuana is scarce and the demand is high, you would get a higher price for a pound. What we have been hearing over the last few years, that marijuana can fetch $300 a pound. But when you go to the court, once you are caught with the marijuana and it is established that it's above the legal limit, then it's part of the punitive act to say, okay, if a pound of marijuana is $300, I'll charge you $600 because they want to prevent you from doing it. So the magistrate would charge you an amount.
But is that fair?
Again, you're going to put this fair talk, eh? Well, I think that there are certain things that a court would do, that a judicial system would do, to try to get the citizens not to engage in an act that is illegal. And since marijuana is illegal, they're trying to prohibit you, they're trying to stop you, they're trying to prevent you from selling it. So the magistrate would fine you. And that fine maybe double what the market rate is. So that's where we are.
Council, I told you finally for the last one, and I gotta ask you, and I know you're gonna say, well, as your partner, you have his number, call him. What is the latest with the head of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force? Do we have a commissioner of police? Has he resigned? Has he demitted office? I'm asking for the public, okay? What is happening here? I'm hearing in some circles that he did demit office, but it was not accepted. His resignation was not accepted. The Prime Minister asked him to rescind that resignation. What have you heard from the legal circles? You're a member of the court.
Bing. For one thing, I think we are making too much about this issue.
It is a national security issue, though.
No, it's not a national security issue. The fact that a commissioner is on his way out is not a national security issue. The commissioner, until he demits office, has to function as the commissioner. So we are making too much of it. That's point number one. The second point is that we know that Colin John is neatly stashed in Ralph back pocket. Colin John will not do anything, and he's not expected to. He's the commissioner of police, and he's expected to serve. but he's a loyalist, right? And he would not do anything untowards. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is that when the Prime Minister said that he would neither confirm or deny, he was essentially saying that Colin is on his way out. Point number 4 is that he also said that no decision has been made yet, but the decision would be made sometime soon, which means he's searching now for somebody else to be the Commissioner of Police. My information tells me, and anybody who knows Prime Minister Gonzalez knows this, and maybe a feature of people in power, that he probably sat in a meeting with other police high brass and berated Colin John. And because he berated Colin John, Colin might have, the lawyer that he is, says, look, I'm 55 years old. I have done 35 years in the civil service. So I'm entitled to all of my benefits, right? As a normal civil servant. Because when you get a 33 and a third service, you're entitled. But beyond that, as a police officer, you can begin to get benefits after 10 years, after 20 years. Commissioner John has done 35 years. He probably said, you know what? I have had enough of this nonsense, where this man is basically spitting in my face. So he may well have made the decision to leave. In fact, my source tells me that other persons who are asked, who may be in the running for the emerging Commissioner of Police job, has said, 1, the stress is too great, and 2, they can't take the insults. So that's part of the problem there. But I don't think that there's any mystery around. Colin John is gone. He's gone. He's not going to re-emerge as the commissioner. And this notion that the Prime Minister tells him, oh, he's not accepting anything from him. And I am inclined to think that the Prime Minister told him, well, look, you can retire or I'm going to remove you anyway. So that's one scenario. Or the other scenario is that the Prime Minister berated Mr. John in the presence of his other officers, and Mr. John finally got the testicular fortitude to say, man, look, enough is enough. I'm not going to take this anymore. I know legally that I'm entitled to all that I can get, and I'm going to walk.
Wow. That's some serious sources you got there. And last one.
You sound like some of these magistrates I know, man. Where they say it's final, and then you come back and tell you final.
Yeah. School is reopened this morning. As some of the teachers who, with the vaccine mandate matter, who did not take the vaccine and have stayed away from the classes, I'm hearing that some of them has in fact returned back to school. Can you confirm or deny this? Any of this?
Yes, that's my information. A number of them have gone back. That's their decision to make. It may not be such a bad decision because they are out now for so long, and it's really taken a toll. It's really taken a toll on them, physically, psychologically, economically. Plus, they're just wasting their talents. So some have decided to go back. But what it shows is the kind of individual that Ralph Gonzalez is, and the kind of minions that he has in his cabinet. Because when they look at the world, all of them should at least say, well, boss man, look, I think you are harming our larger goal. And considering that no other country in CARICOM did what we did, we can relent and allow the teachers to come back on their terms. But, you know, back in 1986, Ronald Reagan had mined the Nicaraguan ports. Uses American military to mine the ports so the ships couldn't go in and out. And when asked why he did it, Reagan says, those Sandinista revolutionaries, I am going to make them cry uncle. Prime Minister Gonzalez of the view, he's going to make people cry papa. He doesn't care. Going for 25 years as Prime Minister, has evidently amassed whatever he's able to amass in all of those 25 years. And he doesn't care anymore. It is the younger guy, and this is why I always say, I'm surprised that Camilo and Soboto and those guys who will be continuing, Camilo is just 51, Soboto is maybe just into his 40s, they are going to be continuing. Why don't they tell the man, maybe it's time, you see all of those coups that they're having in Africa? Maybe it's time for these guys to say, look, we're going to withdraw our support from you if you continue wrecking our future.
And come to the fact that these teachers have returned back to the classroom, what does this mean for the case? It
means nothing for the case. We're going to argue the case in January. We are going to prevail on it. And all of the money that Ralph Gonzalez government owed the teachers, they would have to pay it. And then, you heard them talking about the $11 million. Where they're going to have real problem is the damages they have to pay. Because, for example, if you could not pay, you're a teacher, a doctor, or whoever else, and you could not pay a mortgage, and over that 2 years, if the interest on that mortgage, which you were regularly paying up until that time, is now $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, the government has to pay that. Because they're the ones who put the teachers. So they're going to have when they talk about 11 million, it might well be, by the time they lose this case, which they will lose, it will be probably $25, $30 million that they would have to pay all told. But they don't care. They don't care. It's not their money. It's not Ralph Gonzalez's money. It's not Camilo's money. If it were their money, they would never be doing what they're doing.
Council, seeing that you're so confident that you will win this case, will you then advise the teachers who have not gone back to the classroom to go back to the classroom, or you would say stay out still, even though you will win the case?
We have had meetings with the workers, and our legal opinion was that where we are now, it may be in the best interest of those who have stayed out to go back. But it is for the teacher, the individual teacher, the individual public servant to make that decision on their own. But if a teacher goes back, it does not harm the case. And you see, that's to tell you how I use the word evil, but I'll use it anyway. That is to tell you how evil Ralph Gonzalez is. Because he himself had argued, well, why don't you all come back? It wouldn't affect your case. Come back and work and let the case go through. And when the case is finished, if you win, you win, and we will pay you. Well, if that's the case, why don't you just allow the workers to come back? Why do you have to hold them over a barrel and say come back? In addition to that, when they go back, these workers are made to sign contracts. These workers are made to sign contracts as if they're just becoming a teacher or a public servant. So if by some miracle they were to win the case, you can bet your life they're going to spite some people and say, oh, the 20 years you had in the service, you lost it because you came back and you are now only 6 months on or a year on. It's vindictiveness, it's spitefulness, it's reactionary. And to have that as a government that touts itself as progressive is just shameful.
And those who are going back this morning, or
I have to.
Are they going back at the same grade, or are they going back at the low grade? Well,
that's the thing. They're being employed, and the conditions are not there. They're telling them to come back, and then one teacher showed me a letter that she got, which told her, "Oh, you're not you." Well, I'll give you the example. When she was trying to leave over the summer vacation to go on a short vacation with her son, who she had not vacationed with since he was born. He's now entering high school. I think he's 11. They gave her some problems. She couldn't go. So those are the kind of difficulties that some of those people are having. But it would all be done soon because the arguments would come up in January and they will lose.
All right. Thank you very much.
I speak with almost scientific certainty.
All right. Science is always sure because it's tried and tested. Thank you very much, Council. Until we meet again tomorrow morning.
Not the kind of science, not the kind of science that you relied on for the COVID thing, but I'm talking real science.
I'm still here, okay? I'm still
here. I know. I asked, about 18 teachers are not here.
Council, that's another conversation. Until we meet again tomorrow morning, all right?
You want to pick it up tomorrow?
Let's pick it up tomorrow.
All right, sir. Until we meet again.
Until we meet again. Thank you very much. Interesting information coming out from Council today. One of them being the major takeaway point for me is that the legal team, has advised their clients, meaning their teachers and civil servants, to return back to work. And that's interesting. And I saw Adriana King saying, I need to call my lawyer. Jomo, you now give me food for thought in relation to my mortgage. And quite a number of other comments coming. We'll get to some of them as we go along. We got Mr. Weeks coming up first. We're gonna take a commercial call, but I know the phone's been going. Let's take this one quickly. All right, we're gonna take a commercial call quickly. Commercial pause. That is Shady laughing. And we're gonna come right back with Mr. Weeks. No more calls unless it's Mr. Weeks calling. So let's take this commercial pause and come back with Mr. Weeks.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow, it's now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than...
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact live. Party.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon. This is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick and I live to ride my AKT.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in, get interactive, get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live, party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Discover new Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth.
Your vision is our mission at Kurtz Optical. Shop today for up to 25% off. And with Ready Finance, pay nothing for 30 days. Book your free eye examination appointment online at www.kurtzoptical.com. Your vision is our mission. Up to 25% off your completed eyewear. Only at Kurtz Optical. Value you can see. Conditions apply. See in-store for details.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Keep calm. We're online now. Thousands of local content for your viewing pleasure. Live. Boom. IKTV. Tune in. Get interactive. Get involved with WhatsApp or Instagram. Interact Live. Party from home. Subscribe, follow, send us your voice notes. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or call us live in studio. Be where the world is going. Stay home and connect online. Boom 1069, IKTV. Join the evolution. It's all about you. Connect now.
Can be made in St. Vincent to cover burials in New York. Caribbean Funeral Home is located on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Call their office at 718-444-1818 or WhatsApp at 347-925-9557 or 347-231-5410. For more information, call our local office at 458-8888. Memorial Funeral Home. Quality, convenience, and affordability.
The National Lotteries Authority introduces the Lotto app for all Android and iPhones. Your free download available at NLASVG.com. Whether it's home, work, or simply having fun, get all NLA game results at your fingertips. View all draws of the National Lotteries Authority on your handset or tablet with the user-friendly Lotto app. Download today at NLASVG.com. The Lotto app.
Time to connect with the most loved man on radio. Sir Lancelot is in the building.
It's now time for Mr. Weeks. Where is he this morning? Where is he? 451-1069. That's the number to call. I was just telling Nia and Michelle outside about my weekend. Oh, it was a horrible weekend I had. I tell you, horrible. Good morning to you, Mr. Weeks. Oh, my gosh. Mr. Weeks, how are you this morning?
Thank you for asking. I'm good.
Yeah? Oh. How was your weekend? First of all,
I had a
You sounding a bit low there.
I have a magnificent weekend.
Oh man, you had a much better weekend than I did. Wow.
It's about time.
I had a sleepless weekend, Mr. Weeks. It was rough. It was hard. You see, I normally one of the things about me with Mr. Weeks, and I'll tell you this before you get going into your segment, right? I'm not afraid to talk about myself, about my strengths and my weaknesses on air publicly. I'm not afraid to talk about my emotional beings and what I'm going through, my fears. And I would tell you, I cried all weekend long, Mr. Weeks. My daughter left me, and it was not easy. I saw your friend Curtis King at the airport, and you know, he was.
He gave you a hug.
I could say that. I had to walk out of the airport terminal and just go and sit in my car. I couldn't handle it. It was hard. I know you've been through that. I know several other parents have been through that. I was just speaking to one of my staff outside, Michelle, who told me the same thing. She experienced that. And I know there are a lot of other parents who experienced that within the last week or so and still experiencing the leaving of their children or child. While it is a very good thing, an amazing thing. Lavon, man, you will cuss again, don't worry. Lavon King, that is, about scholarships and all that. It is tough on the parent. I don't. This is my second time doing it. My first time was with Chavez. But my baby girl, there was something different about it. And I truly, I can't. So whenever you all miss me off the radio, all you know where I did. I gone. I gotta go and be with her. And then she FaceTimed me yesterday crying, Daddy, I miss you and all that. And made it even extra hard, I missed her. I don't even know how I made it to work this morning. But I had to do it because Kenson made a bet with somebody that I ain't gonna come and all that kind of stupidness. So they don't laugh. So that's why I'm here this morning. And Shady's laughing at me. Thank you, Mr. Weeks, for listening to me and for hearing me out. I just needed somebody to. I even called Pastor yesterday. All thing I didn't get him. I just wanted somebody because Louise went with her to get her settled in and all that. And because I just came back, I couldn't just leave again, and it's not good for business. And I just needed somebody that I can vent, share, while bawling. I didn't get him, and I'm doing it to you now. So sorry about that. Sorry. But it's your time, Mr. Weeks.
Thank you for spilling your guts, Bing. I know your listeners are taking note. As I told you previously, I mean, you're losing one at a time. Well, I take that, not losing. But two of them left my house the same morning. That happened in the past. So I understand how difficult it is. I can tell you the good part of it is when they come home for Christmas or for August, or even more so when they come back at the end of their studies. It's really good. It's really good. So don't worry, Bing, that time would come. I'm so sure Tai is going to do well. She's going to make you proud. I'm happy. Well, I hope Louis is not listening this morning because I want to. I may tell you a couple of things that I don't want her to hear. Bing, Talking science again. Shady, is it Love in there? Who? Which one of them? Science again. We Pastor the Bing. I want Pastor to come on with his Bible so we can talk about justice this morning. Come, Pastor, come with your Bible. Let's talk about justice. And I'm not being hasty in saying that we need to have a conversation about justice. Because you see, you Bing, very often you ask the right question, but you don't always ask it at the right time. You understand? Bing, you hearing me? Bing, you leave the phone and gone? You put down your weapon and gone? Bing, you put down your mic and gone?
He's having a moment right now.
I was shocked. I'm so sorry, Bing. Right, I am so sorry. But I tell you, it would feel good Christmas time when Ty comes back home. Or better yet, when you go up to see her. And at the end of it all, you know Ty's going to do well. She may or may not come back home, but she's going to make a mark on the world. In the meanwhile, Shady, I hope Mario is listening. I don't know if it's generally or if it's a certain segment of the IKIP TV listeners in the night. Persons come back at night to view and to listen to IKIP TV. OMG in the morning. And too often there's a complaint that the video is there but no song.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about that.
Yeah, so I hope we can get that sorted out. Mario, you have some work to do, boy. And in the absence of Bing, while Bing catches himself, I want to say good morning to my friend Lavon. Lavon did me so proud on Friday. She came on and she confirmed everything I said. She's a bright, hard-working woman. I don't know if she's a good businesswoman. Lavon King, yes. King, yes, Lavon King. I made a point when I'm encouraging persons to pitch themselves to achieve, to set goals, and position themselves to benefit from all the opportunities that are available. And I use her as an example. A hard worker, bright young woman, and she put in the work and she won the competition. Which part of that is showing shade Lavon? Lavon? Which part of that is showing shade? It's so bent on politics that you can't see when we're talking national development. Everything we talk is politics. A Jamaican lady, Jamaican woman was here, and I'm encouraging her and telling her about the beauty of St. Vincent. And you love her and you jump in about Labour man. Everything we talk is politics, so you love her. I mean, you can't encourage the young people to go for the opportunities like you. I ain't throwing no shade on you. I'm saying that you're a bright person. You're a hard worker. You come on in and confirm that. But you're still telling me you're doing shit. Oh, gosh. Well, I've on you, my friend. Thank you for confirming what I said. And then,
yes.
Remember I said I want to talk on conservation. I may not get there today because I want to stick within your time limit. The award that is given to the persons leaving 2 levels of education at the end of the year. And, Pastor, I want to come back today again to talk about confirmation bias. And you introduce another topic. I don't remember the phrase you use, where persons are using arguments simply to concretize their view. And it doesn't matter if one of the assumptions is wrong. They present a good argument, Pastor. Good argument. Logical reasoning. But the fact that you're doing it on the basis of a faulty assumption on something that is not factual, all that reasoning would do is to confirm your bias, concretize your view. Pastor, you can explain it better than me. I'll leave the rest for you. But in terms of the NIS thing and the awards, we had NIS for a while up until, I believe, 1987 when we had the NPF, the National Provident Fund, up until 1987 when the NIS came into existence. And what that was a situation where it was legislative that workers must pay 5% of their income and their employer add 5% to that. And that goes into a fund. And they get it back. They got back that money at the end of a period. That is, if you become disabled, so you can't work, you get it back. But most often, when you achieve the age, when you reach the age of 60, so you get back that money, the money that you put in. 5% from you and the 5% from your employer. Now, when that money goes into a fund, and like in every case, reasonable people, when you have a fund, you put it in the bank. You don't put it in a pan under your bed or under your desk at work. You put it in a fund. The fund is put in a bank, or you invest it otherwise so that sum can increase. So in 1987, the NPF, the National Provident Fund, was set aside, and it was left there for persons when they become 60. In addition to the NIS, those who were so entitled, they would get back their Provident Fund money. That fund, 36 years, has been earning interest. By now, 36 years after, most of the persons who are entitled, if not all, most of the persons who are entitled to get back some money have received it already. So whatever fund is there is just there, just earning some interest. And if you can motivate a few students, because there are some of them who don't need the motivation to pass math and English and 3 other subjects. I hope most of them are already of that view that they ought to pass math and English and at least 3 other subjects. But there are those who can do it and don't work hard enough to do it. So if we can incentivize them that, look, if you do this, you pass maths and English and 3 other subjects. Remember, they started when it was maths or English and 4 other subjects. But now it becomes it becomes a little more challenging, and it becomes more of a motivator, because we always had a problem with people passing math, and fewer who have a problem passing English. Now that they know they can get a $500 upon graduation, I know people, persons, children who work hard in the past to ensure that they got that $500. So to me, it's more of an incentive, rather than an investment. And well, the economist would tell you that it's an investment when you take into consideration the theory of opportunity cost. But much of that is just fluff to a lot of your listeners. The main point is that the money comes from the National Provident Fund. That's a fund that is there. It's not available. It's not the same as the National Insurance Fund. They're two different funds that came into being under separate laws. The only thing is that the National Insurance Services is doing the administration of the National Provident Fund. In other words, they would be the ones to write the checks and so forth and do the checking and so to make sure that persons who are entitled get their benefit. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And then you raised another issue this morning. What it was? Boy, I need to get some.
Let's while you try to remember that, let's go to the top and come right back to you, okay? All right, it's 9 o'clock. Let's go to the top and come back.
The biggest songs of the summer. Every shift, every day. Playing all the party anthems and hits. All day and all night. We start the heat. The Boom Summerfest is on. The number one morning show in the SVG. OMG in the morning.
Once again, before you leave, I wanna pull you close and kiss you once again. 'Cause only you can brighten up my day. Only you make me feel this way. I cry tears for you when you're gone. When you're gone, I cry tears for you when you're gone. When you're gone.
Boom 1069. SVG's number one. OMG in the morning. Morning.
I don't know why Shady got to do that to them. Mr. Weeks, someone is wants me to ask you, what is the difference between the National Provident Fund and the NIS? If you can explain that, please.
Then, let me see how I can put it. Let me just put it this way. I said it before, the National Provident Fund is a fund set up under one law, one act, that persons will pay 5% of their income, their wages, and the employers would pay. So that's one fund, that's one pot of money that was set aside under a particular act. That's there. That's not the same as the national insurance. The national insurance is an advance on the National Provident Fund. This is set up with different terms, different conditions. This is now an insurance, if you can call it that, a social security insurance, where you're not getting what you put in. You're getting much more than you put in. And when the National Insurance Fund succeeded the National Provident Fund, to them a fund, but they didn't put the two of them together. They couldn't do that because the terms and conditions of both were different. So they kept this fund separate. They put that in an account by itself. Well, it remained in an account by itself where it always was. And it was just there to do what it was set up to do, to give back people the money when they reach age 60. And it has been doing so for 37, 36, 35, 36 years now, 1987 to now. About 35, 36 years now, it has been doing so. When you get to age 60, you go into the National Insurance Services and they pay you this money from the National Provident Fund. They don't pay you from the National Insurance Fund. They pay you from the National Provident Fund, which is set aside and is distinct from the National Insurance. So, ordinary people do that. Ordinary housewives do that. You get some money for your child. Somebody gave you some money to send your child to school for the term, and there are responsible mothers who would set that aside and leave it there, simply to finance the child going to school. They will not use that to buy clothes for themselves, or even for the same child. They will not do it, because that's not what the money was for. The money is to pay the school expenses related to schooling, and it will stay there, and it will go down and down until the end of the year. The difference with the National Provident Fund is that it was placed in a bank or invested somewhere. So it continued to while the amount is paid, whatever remains, you continue to get interest on it. And one thing that I believe all of us who are listening know, that once you're dealing with compound interest, the longer the same amount, if you put $1,000 in an account, that is getting compound interest. The interest it gets in the first year would be less than the interest it gets in the second year and subsequent years. Let me put it the other way, more positively. If you invest, if you put $1,000 in the bank, the interest you get in year 5 would be more than the interest you get in year 1 and year 2. It's the same $1,000 is there. I say that to say that after 37 years, the interest from the National Provident Fund might now be more than the fund itself. I don't know. This is a nice story. A journalist can go and do some investigation and write a story on. Then the contracts, government contracts. And in a way, I wish my friend Edmund Jackson is listening. The one who is the Director General. Because he is the head of the Tenders Board. You know, I listen to the news. I listen to people when they're talking, because, you know, my favorite pastime is to listen. Spend a lot of time listening. And some time ago, I heard, I don't remember if it was the news or somebody else saying it, that the Tenders Board considered about 9 contracts, reasonable size contracts, a 2 million, a 3 million, a 1-point-something million contract to do pieces of roads and to do repairs to government buildings and so. About 9 of them. I mean, the number may be off. And I heard about one company got about 5 or 6 of these contracts. As I say, I apologize if I get the numbers wrong. And I don't put in numbers to exaggerate. Those are what come back to me. And immediately I'm saying, but the tenders board crazy? Does the tenders board know that you don't have to give? Well, I don't say that they don't. Did the tenders board consider the market in which these contracts are being awarded? And the capacity of these companies? You think one company can execute 4, 5, 6 reasonable sized construction contracts at the same time and do it efficiently? They more or less have a fixed number of workers. I heard one company recently having to go on radio, which you don't often hear, advertising that they needed carpenters and masons. It's not surprising that the Grimble Hall will be completed in 2025. Then. 2025. So you can add that period to the 3 years you counted already.
But Mr. Weeks, and there are penalties for things like this? I mean,
there ought to be penalties, Bing. It's written in the contract. It's written in the contract. There ought to be penalties written in the contract.
But are these penalties? I mean, the government and the contractor, are they standing by these penalties? Do we know? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Let me explain that to you. We have people tell you civil servants can't get fired. That's rubbish. Civil servants can't get fired because we have an attitude, I can't ever say in this country, but in small societies, that we now cut down the body breadfruit tree. You ever hear that thing?
Yes.
I will not cut anyone's livelihood. I will not harm anyone. Notwithstanding that you're being paid. So if it becomes necessary to take steps, corrective steps, you will still say you will not harm anyone in that way. You're not cutting down the breadfruit tree. How does this relate? The tenders board has a mantra. If it is not reported to me, I can't consider it when I am making decisions. So you will, a ministry will submit the tenders to the tenders board to provide uniforms for several groups of workers in that ministry. And one of the tailor, the seamstress, will mess up badly to the point where the next year when tenders are being considered and awarded, there may be 1 or 2 seamstresses who have not delivered the uniforms that they were contracted to do 1 or 2 years ago. That happens then. But you know what? These same tailors or seamstresses will have tenders before the tenders board seeking to provide uniforms to the same workers again. And the tenders board can't act on the fact that uniforms are still outstanding because the tender is not reported. The ministry will not report these matters. It will not say, even in evaluating the tender, the current one, they will not even say that. And sometimes they don't know because the tailor or the seamstress have an arrangement with the employee. It's the same thing with the construction. If those who are supervising the construction, those who are supervising the contractor, whether it's a hired consultant, architect firm, or it is BRAXA or Ministry of Transport and Works itself, if they do not report these contractors, tenders board can't take action against them when they're considered in future tenders. And that's one of the problems we have, Bing. That's why when people come here and ask me, where we live, all of we live here, we know what's going on in this country. Yes, I know what's going on. That's a huge problem you have in St. Vincent. So you patch a road today, and next day, the same contractor get the job to repair that road. Because they're never reported. They're not reported. That's the problem, then. But I hope we get the school in 2025 as it is now. Even after 3 years, as you put it. I didn't count it. You said it's about 3 years. We add another maybe 2 years to that, and we get the Grimble Hall. Then we can talk about conservation.
Before you go there, I've got and before you leave, Mr. Weeks, I've got a message. Good morning, Mr. Weeks. Mr. Joseph, please inquire if there is still an establishment called National Providence Fund. I guess this person came in late. National Providence Fund, NIS was born out of and replaced with National Providence Fund. Please, that message came in late.
Confirmation bias thing. Again, there's a difference between the establishment that is called the National Provident Fund and the National Provident Fund, the fund. Sound like stupidness. The fund is a pool of money, a set of money that is put together from the contributions of the workers. That's the fund, and that exists. And that is separate and distinct from the National Insurance Fund. The emphasis here is on the fund. The account in the bank, well, it's not simply an account in the bank, because while the money may be in the bank, there are rules and regulations that govern this account. Or say just what normally regulate an account. There's a law that provides for the use of these funds and so forth, and who administer them and so on. So the National Provident Fund, the establishment does not exist anymore, sir, but the fund, the pool of money still exists.
Another question which I find very interesting. Adriana said that I shouldn't ask questions which I don't know the answers of. I must ask if I don't know. I need the answers, so I got to ask. She also said, I find it really disheartening that you and Mr. Weeks are on here this morning putting blame on the contractor without having the facts. Mr. Weeks?
Well, I give an anecdotal information, and it's more than anecdotal because I was there. What I said was factual. Adriana. It was in the news. It can be proven that one contractor, and I will rephrase it, because as I said previously, I may have the numbers wrong, but I will rephrase it and said, out of a set of contracts that were being considered, one company got a substantial amount awarded to them. And at the time, I felt it was more than what they can efficiently execute. I've been around construction all my life.
But Mr. Weeks, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the work is still going on after how many years? I mean, isn't that straightforward? Well, like,
I can't see anything. I blind. I have to depend on you to tell me. But some people who have the eyes will not see.
Adriana, is the work completed? Maybe I can't see that.
Adriana probably will tell you being that the contractors do not get paid and all of these things. But the good thing is that this is a CDB project, and I have an understanding how CDB projects are financed and administered as well.
Someone else is saying the contractors work by orders to get paid straight. I don't know what I mean. Can you respond to that?
I don't know if you're supposed to understand when I say a contractor what I mean. I'm talking about a man, a company. Let me rephrase, a company that enters into an agreement with the government, in this case, to renovate or to put up a building. I'm not talking about individuals on the job. I don't know what it means by work to order, because the order, they are in the contract that they sign that you must, even before you get the contract, you know what you have to do.
Well, Mr. Weeks, I spoke specifically about the girls' high school, and I did not know. I asked a question: who was it? Baxter doing the work, or was it a contractor? Because it's been several years now. I mean, come on, let's take the politics out of it. Because if it was the other way around, we'd have heard all kind of noise being made. Several years now, and the girls' high school is still there. I mean, look at the condition of it. Adriana said anecdotal is an excuse to throw aspersion on someone else. Really now? I wish I had listened to everything this morning. So because the work is not completed, it is the fault of the contractor. I wish for you or Mr. Weeks to state that clearly if you feel so confident. I didn't know, I don't care. All I know, I have nothing against Bali and Bali. All I know, the work going on too long. It's not finished. And the students are suffering. The teachers are suffering as well because the work is not done. I don't know what penalties are in the clause of the contract. I do not know. All I'm saying, it is too damn long. And if you're going to sit by and feel comfortable with that, then I don't know what I just don't know. I don't know, Mr. Weeks.
Then remember, while I use the girls' high school, the situation that you brought up, I didn't speak specifically to girls' high school, you know.
Well, I did.
Yeah, but I spoke about a problem that we have in the small country. And if you remember, it wasn't simply construction. I use an example from small cottage industry that we should encourage. Yes. A female with a machine in their bedroom making uniforms. That's the example I use. And that's not anecdotal, that's factual. The information I give, it's factual. Well, I am not talking politics. I didn't even mention the company. It's only persons who know its company. And they can link it to politics if they want. But if you're linking it to politics, then it might be damn politics. If all you can see in it is politics, it might be politics why the work is going so slow.
Final one, Mr. Weeks. Mikey said, no proper oversight, no professionalism, a lack of accountability when SVG contractors work by deadlines, and it should be completed in due time.
I agree with that thing. You know, during my tenure in the Ministry of Health, we did 2 major health facilities. A brand new clinic in Igisham and a serious renovation and update of the Stubbs Health Center to bring it to the level of a polyclinic. And I can brag that those were completed on time and on budget. Because I knew at the time, based on the source of funding, that we were working with deadlines. And as a client, the persons on behalf of whom the facilities were being built, the Ministry of Health and the Environment, I made sure I made myself available. I didn't just ask the health planner to go to the site meetings. I organized my work in such a way that I can go to the site meetings so that when decisions are to be made, that I have to be involved in, it can be made there.
All right. Okay.
So I agree that sometimes there's lack of supervision. But sometimes we think the supervision is from the government minister or even the Ministry of Transport and Works or BRAXA. Sometimes the post supervision are architects, engineering firms that are hired by the project to provide this kind of supervision.
Consultants as well.
Well, they're called consultants.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, consultants. Because they're not full-time staff members. They're given a contract as a consultant, sometimes to design the facility and sometimes to design and supervise the construction of the facility.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Mr. Weeks, want to thank you very much. We got a commercial break to take. Thank you for your insights as usual.
Thank you, Ben. You make your money, man. We will do the conservation issue another time.
Yeah,
so
we can do it. We can do it even before Thursday if you wish. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank
Have
you.
a great week.
Have a great one. Thank you. Let's take a quick break. Come right back.
This Labor Day weekend is about to be lit. We out.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's falling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Get it up to your inner move, stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through.
Jackpot. How about Combo 7? That's a purchase of 7 lotto numbers for $42. Match any 5 of the 7.
Cables, find that at Corazes. We have everything for your home at Corazes. Located in Kingstown, located
environments. Any detailed information, such as the color of the hair and skin, color of the clothing.
Paladin SVG Inc. alarm solution is second to none. We offer intrusion alarm systems, security radar, active infrared beams, and emergency alarm systems. Get perimeter protection for your premises. Active infrared beams protect large areas. Our radar video linkage solution sends data to PTZ cameras for active target tracking so you can take immediate action. Intrusion alarm systems offer reliable protection and records video the moment the alarm is triggered and sends footage to users via email or the app. Intelligent alarm systems mean you can control your home from anywhere in the world. Find out more at Paladin SVG Inc. at telephone number 784-457-7241.
Listen, I'm a mojito connoisseur. I've drank mojitos near and far. And when you want a good mojito, trust me, the only place to get it is Culture Barranca.
Memorial Funeral Home is dedicated to meeting the needs of our customers. We go above and beyond to ensure satisfaction and convenience. That is why we are extending our services to the diaspora. Working with Caribbean Funeral Home in New York, burial packages can now be completed in New York to cover burials in St. Vincent, and likewise, packages can be made in St. Vincent to cover burials in New York. Caribbean Funeral Home is located on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Call their office at 718-444-1818 or WhatsApp at 347-925-9557 or 347-231-5410. For more information, call our local office at 458-8888. Memorial Funeral Home. Quality, convenience, and affordability.
But we're not just any bank. We're the People's Bank. Your penny bank, and so much more. For more information, call us at 456-1894 or visit our website today at www.svcooperative.bank.com.
A new era of excellence in medical education has arrived, with big changes happening at Trinity School of Medicine. With the leadership of 3 new deans, a multi-million-dollar campus expansion project, and a strong desire to build a lasting relationship with the Vincentian community, Trinity is known as a premier-level medical school in the Caribbean, and we intend to broaden our focus to become the best medical school opportunity for students all over the world. From the Trinity family to yours. Thank you for supporting our school and allowing our students to find a home with the people of St. Vincent.
The number one morning show in the SVG.
Morning.
OMG in the morning.
Come on now. Well, listen to Demas. Big up Virgin Nado. Albert and the Virgin do. We have the Demas. Anything in our go, sir.
Hey, good morning to you, Adriana. Adriana say morning radio in the days of Chester Connell used to be so edifying. So true. Oh, I agree. Teachers long ago used to be so committed. Bring my body there. Bring my body. Teachers long ago used to be so committed to their job and professional and all of that. Where my body dropped there? Where my body dropped there before we jump into pastor? Wait there. Can't find? Huh? Just now? Yeah, Adriana, I agree with you. I miss Chester. I remember those days. I also remember the days of teachers like Mr. Morgan. Committed teachers, no matter what. Go above and beyond for the students. What you say, Adriana? Let me go this morning. Let me fight up now. Come, bring quick. Bring. Find it, the man. Okay, take the man. Somebody move it. Somebody can't move it. 451 is it? Cancel the man can't find your drop, boy. You get? A double. Oh, what is this about? Where is really? I think you're doing that for spite. Let me go back to my ask him very ready. Let me go.
I want to say thanks to those who voted for Labour, but now a ball.
Morning.
Shady morning. How was the weekend, buddy?
Weekend was good.
Man, trade shade at me now. Me and the man not there.
Yeah, shady boy. I had put up a bet. That the man wouldn't come to work, and I call his name.
Shady.
But it appears they play the tough and coming to work, eh?
Bad man, shady.
I was just going to ask him before he come into the studio that I wasn't red.
Shady.
And I noticed they put on a glasses with some red handles and things.
I always wear my glasses, and
he read this around the room and the eye wouldn't shut up. You know, good morning, babe.
I ball like a baby, buddy. Like a baby. Take it easy. Like a baby, buddy. You know, buddy. You know. Oh, God, man. All weekend. You see my pillow, it wet down. Oh, gosh. All weekend, buddy. Let's go.
Look, I listened to something Mr. Weeks said a while ago, and I want to say I feel like sometimes people are inherently evil, right? In the sense that he said sometimes in the service, you know, people don't do what they have to do because sometimes they don't want to say, you know, cutting down somebody's breadfruit tree. But the reason why I say I think people are inherently evil is because give them a little excuse, give them a little power being, and you will see really how evil some people are. And I'm talking about, you remember when the vaccine mandates came in?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when people were showing up to work and so forth and so on? And it have those inside co-workers of people are not being who they were laughing and talking just yesterday, making plans to go for drinks. You know what I mean? Some of them visit one another homes. And these were the same persons who were inside, locking the gate, hiding the signing books and all of these things for the same people to get sent home, to give an excuse to the government and other employers to fire people. Because remember, especially in the civil service, it is stated that once you are off the job for 10 days, you have abandoned the job. That is the rule. So it was interesting hearing Mr. Weeks say that this man, and then, you know, that thing just popped into my head. Because I can say that is not true. There are persons who will walk to see some people get sent home. But, you know, the good thing is that the way that the system is set up, you know, firing somebody is a really high bar. To fire somebody is a high bar to meet. There's a high bar to meet to do that. And then, you know, if you get it wrong, there's recourse in the court. Now, one of the things that stems from that, while I was mulling that over, is the fact that I usually hear people talk about, you know, the referendum in 2009 where the constitution was to be changed. Now, in that constitution, if it had passed, when I hear people say, oh, you missed a good thing, people like the Prime Minister and even Campbell who has died there, Mr. Campbell who has died, and some other people, I wonder if people had read this document. I thank God that I did. Because one of the things inside that document was the fact that you would not have had any recourse, any way of fighting. If as a civil servant you were even, dismissed wrongfully. It was that they were going to set up a committee. Once the committee said you're fired, that was it. But under this constitution, at least you have recourse in the court. Where if you feel you were wrongfully dismissed, you can take the matter to court. You know? And even you were illegally transferred and all of these things. And the issue of Mr. White has come to mind when I think about especially that illegal transfer or something. All of these things would have been thrown out the window. You know? But another part of the thing that I want to talk about, what Mr. Weeks spoke about, is when he spoke about the tenders board. And it was interesting when he spoke about that. And he said something very interesting. Like literally where he complained about the tenders board giving out all of these jobs to sometime one company. It's very interesting. But what's more interesting is something that Mr. Julian Francis, had said some time ago. When an issue of some monies that were borrowed, it was the same Bally and Bally that took the matter to the ECCB. And it was a matter of a tenders that were put into the project. And a company with an even higher tender was given the project, and it was challenged, and the money was pulled by the bank. But what was interesting was what Mr. Francis said at the time, where he said they will go around the tenders board because they are accustomed to doing it. So why do you have the tenders board set up? And I talk about this because we have now come being where we have accepted corruption in such ways, in such a deep form, that it is now the norm. It's like being corrupt is the norm. And it's so in our face that we accept it, we throw up our hands in the air and we say, what can I do? And so when I heard Mr. Weeks talk about that this morning, I smiled. And I say it's interesting that this was brought up when the same tenders board, at times, it appears they have no power. It seems like the institutions here have no power at all at times. Because if the other day, the rivers and the authority that control rivers and beaches and so forth went to do a job, and the Prime Minister could say they had not the power to do it, when they legally have the power to do so. They have the mandate over rivers, beaches, and all of these things. So it appears for me, what that told me, and I like the word anecdotal, because we have anecdotal evidence have no power until the minister or whoever doesn't want the power. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the power resides with the minister or ministers. And it's only when they don't want the power, these entities will get the power. The last thing I want to talk about is that issue in Kenawan. And it comes right back to these things again. Because I have to wonder who has the power. Now we see this issue where the investors in Kenawan, they want to literally control access to the beach, which our Prime Minister has stated emphatically that they even told Sandals that access to the beach must be maintained and no beach is private. Yet we are seeing a whole different thing in Kenawan for years. And up to now, the Prime Minister himself, who usually likes to be the one to go into everything, has not gone there. And we don't question why. That is why I mentioned corruption. And let me put it into perspective. Now, for years when Terence Minor was fighting that thing, he was thrown in court, all kind of thing. Debbie got locked up. We saw they tried to put up a wall in the main road, the government road last week. They had them fight, they stood up, they fight, they stood up. Until finally, surveyors were sent and they realized, yes, the protesters were right. They were even in people land trying to build a gate, you know. Now, this is where part of the corruption starts. The Prime Minister is saying one thing, Mr. Snag down there is saying the other. Snag say the gate have a right to go because it's a gated community on the north side of Kenawan. And for me, I believe what Snag says. You know why I believe what Snag says? Because if the chief surveyor could go to Kenawan, along with Mr. Montgomery Daniel, the Minister of Works, they say the gate must come, the columns and everything must come down. No gate can go there. But yesterday, the investors move like Nicodemus in the night and go and put up a whole set of pole in the same area to put up a fence in the middle of the road. So with that being, that tells me there must be some form of corruption somewhere, that an investor, and a foreigner especially, could come here and defy the law and also the minister. Defy the Minister of Works and the chief surveyor. I remember when some dredging was supposed to take place. When the same plans and surveys department that is in control of all of those things. Again, this is a third one to show you just how corrupt we are in St. Vincent. The Prime Minister and how they don't have no power. The Prime Minister said, but they don't have the power to give license. Well, not license, but to give the right away to do dredging or to any of these things. And then turn back and we hear that, they have the power. So when do they have the power being? When do these entities have the power? And so we are so corrupted and blinded, we can't see that sometimes the same government that we put in place is in bed and cahoots with the corruption, the architects of the corruption. I know I hold up a time plenty this morning, but I had to highlight these things.
Sorry, I want to ask you one question before you go. Dr. Richards to come. Teachers who were part of the Maxine Bandit, who stayed away from school, a lot of them are back in the classroom this morning. This was confirmed by Councillor Jomo Thomas, said that they legally advised them to get back to school. What's your take on this quickly?
I agree. Bing, when you look at the order of Justice Esco, but put that aside, the way that they were dismissed, Bing, the way they were dismissed was wrong. It was wrong. And one of the things that I smiled about is the fact that Allah, which is the thing act there, that was changed. That when we were protesting, that went all the way down to 3 a.m. the next morning for them to change it. That was changed to facilitate. Not new rules or anything were put in place, you know. Allah was changed. The fact that you had to change Allah so that you could make such a far reach to try to touch the civil servants, especially, and workers. It says something. And from what I know, especially with contract law, yes, I studied some contract law. You cannot just go in, one entity can go in and just change a contract just so. If you came in under one contract, you must sit down with me and we decide on what. And guess what now? The contract must go in favor. When it comes to government and workers, it must go in favor, especially of the worker. Because you can't make them worse off. You see what I'm saying? So I smile. And the thing is this, at the end of the day, I would like to see how the government will handle this. Yes, you have the appeals coming up and so on. But as I said, I agree. And we are seeing that we have that space being and that need for seasoned teachers and teachers who actually care. Because plenty of them who they put in place, they are just there. They don't really care. And most of them were on contract. So I guess plenty of the contracts are not being filled, and people need to question as to why are these people on contracts. Because when a contract is out, I don't have to renew it. And it doesn't even have to be out for me to run you and don't owe you. You see what I'm saying? And that's how smart the government is moving. Well, cunning, not smart. You see? So that the people that they put into these people's space, most of them are not conformed to the position. Because they know they have a high chance of losing this appeal. It's just to suffer people. So I agree with the persons going to do the work. They were never fired. And even according to Justice Esco in her order, they never lost their job. They never lost their benefits. Nothing. So I agree.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thanks for being there.
I'm waiting for my cattle foot and cattle hoof.
Man, listen, you see now that tie is not here. You see now that tie is not here.
I made a bet that I'm going to come to work this morning, but it's all right. It's all good, man. All right.
You see,
I will bring some Kong soup for you. It's all right.
Yeah, but you see how tie is not here? I know you could sneak away and drink a little, soup and you know what I mean?
Shady, boy, Shady. That's your brother, Shady.
Pastor is listening.
That's your boy,
Shady.
Yes, buddy. Thank you. Cool. Let's jump straight into it. Dr. Richards is up next. Let's go straight into it, Shady. Let's go.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
I see the phone lines going crazy. We can't take that because it's now time for Dr. Richards. I want to say good morning to Council General in Canada, Fritz Huggins, and if I got the time, I'll tell you why later on. Well, Doc is on, so we bring him. So while I'm wrapping up, I'll tell you why I'm saying good morning to Council General in Canada. Right? Doc, you got a feedback there? You got some serious feedback there, Doc. I don't know why shit mash up this thing again. It's you, yes, it's you. You saying that my pastor mash up the thing?
Jesus, why are you blaming me?
Good morning, Doc. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Why are you blaming me? What am I being blamed for?
I don't know. I don't know why Shady is doing that. Shady, you lying on pastor?
I didn't see that much of it.
Ling, how you doing?
Saying the feedback is from his side.
What does that mean? Half a dozen wanna the cup half full or half empty? Doc, good morning to you.
Mm-hmm. How you doing?
I am here trying to stand firm.
I tried to reach out to you yesterday, no Bing.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, you must check your messages, but I excuse you for not checking your messages, man. I know what you've been through. I mean, anyway, I know you don't want to talk much about that this morning. Check your messages from me, man. I give you some good words there, all right?
I got so many messages, Doc. I will search for it this morning when I get off the radio, Doc.
Yeah. Just check your messages, and if you really need to, you could follow up on that. But I'm there for you, all right? Just know that. Been through it. I remember when my daughter was on the other side of the wall, and it's not a country I could get in and out of easily. Couple of years over the thing, and you know where. I was like, gee, boy, that was hard. That was hard. That one was hard. I mean, it took 24 hours. If I wanted to go there 24 hours or whatever it is, nah, I couldn't handle that. Good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Back to school day. I'm not going to talk about school this morning. Let me go ahead and say though that let me encourage everybody this school year. A little challenge. Let's keep our narrative about education. Let me put it this way. Let's be very positive and supportive of efforts to educate our people. Educate. I talked so much last year about education. What is education? It ain't what you think it is, Bing. It really ain't. It ain't what you think it is. So let's just keep being positive about efforts to educate. When I come on this radio, I try. By the way, Mr. Weeks, good morning. Mr. Weeks, good morning. I heard you, Mr. Weeks. I heard you. You said, Pastor, keep educating us on the matters of justice. You also talked about what I call fallacies in argumentation. It's hard to listen people, but I listen. It's really hard to listen people. One of the fave areas of mine. You all should study it. Well, you don't have to, but you don't have to go to a university to study it, but you really either take up debate or like lawyers do, study argumentation and argumentation fallacies. Okay, that's the thing, argumentation fallacy. When you study argumentation fallacies, right, you could strip what somebody is saying. You could technically strip it apart. And it's a dangerous thing because sometimes a man can say a lot of words. For example, I could say a lot of words. I could end up saying nothing after you finish stripping it apart. You have to interrogate. I keep saying that all the time. Interrogate, because argumentation fallacies are slick. Some do them intentionally. Sophists, those who are good with words. The spin doctors employ argumentation fallacies intentionally because they know people don't see them. The average guy don't. I will spot them. I promise you. I will spot them. When I tell you I will spot them, I will spot them. Okay? So the sophists, spin doctors use argumentation fallacies, but the average guy, on the other hand, while the sophists might do this intentionally, follow me, stay with me. I keep encouraging you all to stay with me. while the sophists will do this intentionally, by and large, the people out there who present arguments, narrative, discussion, put out things out there, their arguments are shot with fallacies that they don't even know, because they're honest, they mean what they say. They're passionate about what they say, but a shrewd guy listening will like, but and they will see all the different fallacies. All right. So, Mr. Weeks, when you mentioned that this morning, it really nudged an area that I am particularly interested in. So, for example, when you talk, Bing, or Mr. Weeks, or Jomo, Kenson, Adriana, and other people, the share. I am listening. Let me just give you a few, right? And I'm not going to define them, because very often I hear a lot of correlation fallacies. I hear a lot of equivocation. People are equivocating all historical fallacies. I mean, it's like I listen, brilliant people speaking, and I'm listening, but the historical fallacy right there, fictional fallacies, moralistic. I have to be very careful, because from where I speak, I might come across as being moralistic, but I myself watch for moralistic fallacies. One that Mr. Weeks mentions a lot, but he doesn't call it a fallacy, but I know where he's coming from, and especially in the discussion of crime. Boy, in the discussion of crime, I hear a lot of regression fallacies, even by representatives of the people, politicians. I'm not saying which side they're on, but I listen to them and like, geez, boy. And nobody would know that it's a regression fallacy. Well, some would, but he's like, choo. Regression fallacies galore. False attribution of causes, okay? Regression has to do with the attribution. Part of regression argumentation has to do with the attribution of causes. And in regression fallacies, you might attribute for example, you have people attributing the cause of crime to economic situation. Regression fallacies big time, but you see, it goes across so easily, it sells. But people who buy that, you are buying an argument based on a fallacy. I can't do that. I don't have that. Referential fallacies is another one. Let me stop there. I mean, it's just, I could give you 30, 40 well-employed fallacies by the sophists. But you're not going to snow me, eh? You're not going to snow me, because I know the game. And sometimes when you are well-intentioned, like most of the speakers that come on, they're well-intentioned. But if they are committing fallacies, I'm not hard on them. I'm just recognizing it, and I don't buy, what they say based on the fallacies. Plus, I haven't even touched some of the things that I have mentioned time and again that are more prevalent. Confirmation bias, I heard a lot of that this morning. You tend to look for things that confirm your biases, and you argue that way. Motivated reasoning is another one that I hear. Like I said last week, people are really reasonable. People lay out great arguments, but they are motivated, cognitive biases. Now, cognitive biases, and again, I'm just educating. Not all talk is talk. Not all talk is tough for you to run with. Talk is inundated with cognitive biases, that mental filtering. People are unconscious. Well, not unconscious. They are not conscious of their ability to just mentally filter out things they don't want to hear. So when you begin to engage in a conversation with them, they haven't heard the whole truth. They're filtered out. There's a thing called mental filtering, and people in my field are accustomed to dealing with people with mental filtering. Sometimes it is a protective mechanism to People cloud out things that happen in their childhood. People cloud out, women cloud out things that happen to them in relationship. They just block it out. They can't deal with it. Mental filtering. We block out things we don't like to hear, things we don't want to deal with. Mental filtering. You have emotional reasoning. That's another cognitive situation. Not all reason is reason. A lot of reason is based on emotion. That's a cognitive bias. Polarized thinking. They don't, I mean, especially in a tribal nation. When I say tribal nation, tribal wall, because it's everywhere. The wall is so divided, you are polarized. This pole or that pole, this line of thinking or that line of thinking, conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat, polarized. And the sea, the rich, vast ocean of thought in between the poles, the rich, vast ocean of intellectual discussion between the poles. We can't get it because we are too polarized. Cognitive bias. I don't have time, you know. I should do a lecture on this one of these days, man. Reticular vision, I've talked about that too. But anyway, that's not Bing. What I came on here to talk about, frankly speaking, is to take up Mr. Weeks and his challenge to talk about justice. Boy, that thing big on me. But I just wanted to say that when people talk, if you have the tools to dissect it properly, for example, when I talk, you are supposed to interrogate what I say. You are supposed to interrogate the narrative and spot my fallacies and spot my biases and whether it's a confirmation bias or I mean, I might not be aware of it. You are supposed to.
Not everybody can handle that. You know that, right? Not everybody can handle it.
But I try to teach how to do it. You can't just swallow what I say, hook, line, and sinker. Now, what I want you to do is to do it in a proper manner. That's the thing. Don't just willy-nilly just disagree. But Bing, when somebody disagrees with me and they can do so from a rational, intellectual point, I love that, boy. Let me go. I love that. All right. But some of this kind of trade stuff that is like, you know, you can't respect it. You can't respect when somebody doesn't have a basis. But if somebody can deconstruct what I am saying in a proper manner and show me where the biases are, whether they are, belief perseverance is one that I missed out. I might have, and it is so imperceptual. I'm not even aware that I am holding on to a belief. There are facts out there that disprove where I stand and prove another point, and I don't even want to touch them because I want to hold on to my belief perseverance. Somebody has to hear and see and point out that kind of stuff to me. I think our situation here is Vince is that surely, I mean, not speaking disrespectfully, like I said, people are not even aware of the biases and the fallacies that lace our narratives, and we just accept narratives and thought and things. We just accept them hook, line, and sinker without interrogating them to see where the fallacies and the biases lie. You have to be very careful what you swallow, because what you eat determines who you are. So I'm very, very careful. You know, I kind of separate my rice from my peas. I do that. All right? You have to be careful, Bing. This is not to diss anybody. This is just to highlight that you just can't take what people say. Especially you see sophists, and you have to know who the sophists are. You see sophists, they know what I know. Okay, that's what makes it dangerous, right? Because the vast majority of us, just really, we go around, we don't know these things, but some of us have been trained. All right, trust me, some of us have been trained in argumentation and debate, and we're good at it, and we good at. But if in the hands of a wrong and in the hands of the a guy that's unscrupulous, you know, the knowledge of how to maneuver and manipulate. Let us say false equivocation or false attribution or regression fallacies and all that. If you are good with that, you could just know people. So what people do is that you learn it, you become good at it, and you could talk a good talk. Me, on the other hand, what I try to do is to learn it, become good at it, so that I could spot it when it's being done or when people are trying to do it to me. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop there, and tomorrow, I promise you, I'm going to talk about justice because that's a big, big thing. All right? How about that?
Very good. Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. Interesting.
Interrogate what I just said there, you know. See if there are fallacies and biases there, and maybe after you finish picking apart, you know, maybe there's nothing there. All right. Go learn the trade, Bing. When I say Bing, not you. Go learn the trade.
I am always open to learning new things, Doc.
Well, not you, but I was really honestly, I was saying this to us. Go learn the trade. Go learn fallacies, understand them, understand not how to use them, but how to spot them, understand biases in argumentation. You know, go learn it. Spend some time doing that. You know, it may take you a couple of weeks, and once you feel you got your feet wet, you will begin to look at what people say differently. All right, have a good day.
Have a good day. Catch you tomorrow morning, Doc. Thank you very much. That's Dr. Richards for you this morning. I will wrap up. Call coming. I think I might know who this is. Oh, no, call is gone. All right. Adriana, what happened? You didn't call? You said you wanted to call to deal with me. Well, not to deal with me, to have a conversation with me, but that didn't happen. Jill, where are you, darling? I know you're outside. I saw you outside. Did I see you outside, Jill? I want to say something about Fitz. I mentioned him. Fitz, Council General Fitz Huggins. Yeah, Shady, we gotta. I know. We gotta go. Yeah, I know. Because she's ready. Yeah, Jill in the shade room is ready, so we gotta go. I want to say publicly thank you to Fitz Huggins. You guys know what happened last week, and I kind of explained it a bit when my daughter was on Friday with me. Those of you who missed it, I brought on my daughter with me on Friday morning because I wanted to spend some time with her, and blah 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 blah. She said, "Daddy, I want to come in the studio to see the bad man, the real bad man in action." So I said, "Okay, well, come, let's go. Let's see how you can handle that." And one of the persons who I received messages from was our Council General Fitz Huggins. One of the things came out in my conversation with my daughter publicly on air, which I knew that is that one of our fears is that something will happen to us, family, friends. One of the things that she would love to see happen is that not just her do well, but everyone do well. Not just her friends, but all young people, all students do well. And that gave me a bit of goosebumps, you know, that she wants to see everyone do well, all right? Not just her. And we spoke about the boarding school that she's going to once a month, in 1 week and a month. She has to leave the school. All students have to leave the school. That's mandatory. 1 weekend in every month. And Fitz reached out to me and Fitz said, Bing, I want to let you know that you're welcome while you're not here in Canada. Louise is there. When Louise comes back, I'll go up. If for any reason that either of you can't be present, that I want to open my home, my doors, to have Ty come in to spend that 1 weekend with us, where she can be among people who she knows. She refers to Fitz as Uncle Fitz and Auntie June and the family and all that. And to me, that's a big deal. He didn't have to do that, you know. I've got other families there, and he said that, and I just want to thank you publicly for that, Fitz. Yeah, and I really, really want to thank you for that, because I told her that, and she was quite excited about that. And little things like that, you know. And I want to thank you, Uncle Fitz, according to Ty, for that. Yeah. Listen, we'll be back. Is Jill outside? Why is she not coming inside? Is she unless she coffee, so she good now. You ready is on outside in the lobby? You ready is not on. All right. Listen, tomorrow morning we'll be back. I'm working on a specific guest to be with me this week. At some point, I'm hoping that it will be sooner rather than later in the week. Maybe as soon as tomorrow. Maybe I'll continue to massage and thing and that guest to make sure that guest come. All right. If that happens, it'll be good. Yeah. So look out for that. Shady, you want to say goodbye?
I hope everyone have a great week.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thanks to Dr. Richards. Thanks to what did Job say? What Kenta drop? What Kenta things say? What Kenta things say?
I want to say thanks to those who voted for Labour but now a ball.
Thanks to thanks to Mr. Weeks, and thanks to Councillor Jomo Thomas, and all of you who participated, those who called, those who contributed, those who sent messages. Thanks to you, Adriana. We go fight up, but it's all right. But it's love. You know, I love everybody I fight with. It doesn't mean anything. I love you, dear. I love you, darling. All right. Until tomorrow morning, class. Well, now we're gone. Yeah, Shady outside.
Boom Summer Fest is on. Biggest songs of the summer. Every shift, every day. Playing all the party anthems and hits. All day and all night. We turn up the heat. The Boom Summer Fest is on.